What's up, YouTube? It's that GTA Fan 720 with the official pre-review of the Samsung Galaxy Note 5. This phone I have had for 3.5 months. I do not regretting getting it over the S7 Edge. I will answer that question because it's a Note. It has the S Pen. And I'm going to be getting a case, the S View flip cover case, official for the Note 5, in a little bit. Here I have the one from my Note 3, but of course my Note 3 is dead. But I'm getting the Note 5 one. Might be asking, why am I wearing sunglasses? Because I want to. I don't have a black eye or anything. It's just I like wearing sunglasses since I have a pair now. Anyways, so this is my Note 5 pre-review. So if you guys have any questions about the Note 5 that you want me to answer in my full review before I drop it very soon, then drop them in the comments below. But anyways, the basic gist of the Note 5 is, should you still get it? And if you have it, is it worth upgrading? Well, if you have, that's pretty easy question because there's nothing to upgrade to. Okay, the product that you would have been able to upgrade to has been recalled, and the refurbished model isn't even out yet. So, and even at that point, it wouldn't be that much of an upgrade considering that you still would have to deal with the fact that even though your phone wouldn't be crippled anymore, everyone had to be like, is that a Note 7? You got to turn that down. You know, you can't bring that on, can't bring that on a plane, can't do all this. Even if there's some ways, some people won't get the memo. They'll think you're rocking your OG Note 7, and they'll be like, oh, you can't bring that. I'll be like, mine won't explode. And they're like, yeah, I've heard that before. Like, no, I know they did a recall, and I know they had no new ones, and then they recalled those. But this is the third one, and this one won't explode. I promise. Anyways, the Note 5 is great. The camera is the best. The S7 is slightly better in some instances and slightly worse in other instances. Okay? Because will be much better in higher light photos. Okay? But the S7 is greater in lower light photos. Same thing with the S8. The S8 is very similar to the S7, so that's not much of a difference. So even with the S8, it's still not that big of a jump. And in some cases, you're still not really doing any better than the S6 and Note 5. So the camera is simply amazing. I've recorded every single one of my videos since then, except these webcam videos with this camera, and it's simply amazing. The call quality is very good. Yes, I do call people very frequently. I call people at least every other day. I know some of you don't use your phone for phones, but it's like, if you don't use your phone to make phone calls, why'd you buy a phone? Just get an iPod or something like that. But some people they buy a phone and they just never call anyone. But I call people, and you know, I have a big head and everything, so me toting around this big phone, I know like the idea of where notes make it, you know, you seem ridiculous if you have a big phone. That isn't the case anymore, but still some people still feel that way. I mean, it doesn't look that ridiculous. It looks pretty fun. Like if I have it like this, it kind of looks weird, but if I have it like centered on my ear, it's just kind of like, oh, it's a regular phone. But I usually hold my phone like this. Like I always hold my phone at the very bottom of the phone. Maybe that's just because I'm trying to show it off. But like I know a lot of people, they hold their phone like this, and to me that feels really weird because they're holding on to this big chunk. And to me, it's more natural to have the phone rest on my pinky, and then my ring finger kind of rest on the corner. And then as a result, depending on how I'm holding it, you know, hold the bottom part of the phone. Plus then, like, if I do somehow drop it, if it lands on the top, that's actually better because it's a more protected part of the case, whereas this has holes open, so there's more, especially on that corner where the S Pen is. If it falls just right, it can scratch it. Like on my Note 7, the case, I actually dropped it, and there's a scuff right on the tip of the S Pen. Right there, because it landed on a corner where the case wasn't really quite covering it, so it just perfectly landed, and it put a big scrape right on where the S Pen is. So that kind of sucks. But with the Note 5, I don't have that problem. The S Pen is still perfect. So Speaking of which, I use this S Pen so much that I'm legitimately wondering if I should buy a second one, just because I'm worried that this one might wear out. Because I know there's that thing where if you put it in backwards, it gets stuck inside the phone, which don't do that really. But if I click this so much, what if it breaks and the pen's still inside the phone? I know I'll be able to get it out because I've actually seen this. If your pen gets stuck inside your phone this way, like the mechanism breaks, it sounds really stupid, but just drop your phone. Because then the force, like you don't have to like drop it on the concrete, but just like drop it in your hand. I'm trying to see if I can't. See, look there, and the pen popped out. Like just smack it on your palm enough, and the pen will pop out. And if the button's broken, you can get a new pen. So that's something I kind of learned. That is one thing though, is that on the rare instance I do drop it, which I think I've dropped it twice. Yeah, I've dropped it twice in the entire time I've had it. One time was it literally sliding off my leg and onto the ground, and then obviously didn't phase it like at all. And then the other time was when I left left the house. I was standing on the top doorstep right by my front door, and I was pulling my keys out, and I dropped the phone, and the phone landed flat on its back, and it was like it stuck the landing, and obviously the case protected it, which is good, and it didn't have, not even the case had a scratch on it, so that's really good. And I have yet to drop it face down or anything like that, because like I'm not dropping it on purpose. This is the most careful I've been with the phone. And whenever you spend like your own, like I didn't buy all of it, but I spent a pretty decent chunk on this phone. I spent like maybe like a fourth of the price, which I know sounds like a fourth, but like I spent a little bit of money on this. And you kind of really learn to really take care of your stuff. Not saying that like I purposefully broke a lot of other phones. Like I did purposefully break one phone that was like a few years ago. Shout out to my boy Austin, he knows the story. But I have accidentally broken a couple phones, including the Note 3 and the previous LG. Although the Note 3 wasn't really my fault, but the LG was my fault because it fell off a table, and I should have caught it. But back to the Note 5, it's simply a great phone. And again, if you have any questions about it, drop them in the comments below, and I will catch you guys in the next one. And I'll be posting a lot of videos tomorrow. Because there's a lot with there's a lot of stuff that I want to ramble about, not necessarily like videos like this where I'm just rambling in front. Some of it I'll probably be walking around, maybe I'll be vlogging it with my phone, maybe I'll be just sitting here. I have a lot of stuff to talk about regarding Chris Cornell, and regarding like a lot of really sensitive topics like suicide and abuse and stuff like that, because there's been like a lot of stuff I've read about recently with I just heard about the whole thing with Daddy05 and My Abuse Story by Matthew Santoro, which I know I'm really late to the game on all that, and then plus the recent story of Chris Cornell's death that kind of it's taking its toll. But yeah, so there will be some kind of sensitive topics coming out tomorrow, but I mean you can just choose not to watch those videos if you want to. But they're going to be a little bit more personal than this stuff where it's just me talking about a phone or filming a skit of me breaking something. Anyway, guys, this is that GTA Fan 720 signing out. I hope you all have a good one. And if you guys, again, last time I'll say it, any questions about the Note 5, drop them in the comments below. Drop it like it's hot, like my wallpaper, and we can get rolling on that review. Peace out.